Yeah, welcome everybody. This is Derek, and I am welcoming you guys live to some more Gundam. This time we're fighting in space. I actually just had myself a trial match and got an amazing phone call and then won the battle. So, yeah, I'm a happy camper. I welcome you all to come join me for a good old time of gaming. Let's see here. I'm gonna start out invites now. Forgive me if I'm silent. Just sending out invites. Let's see. It looks like we're waiting on 2 more people to come into the match, which is good. And it looks like we're launching. So you guys are going to get a first taste at watching a Gundam. And watashi wa junbi desu. Now we just wait for everybody to ready up, and then we're into our space match. So space combat's a little interesting. There's a lot of just sort of, I guess, positioning-based combat that goes on. You spend less time trying to navigate while firing, and more time just, kind of trying to find that spot where nobody will notice you, get your shots off, and then go away. So, that's the principle of it. Yeah. So, the real challenge, in my opinion, is just weapon cycling, especially with this mobile suit here, the Gundam. This one is from Thunderbolt Gundam. It's actually the main Gundam in Thunderbolt, which is found actually on YouTube. That's a really cool one that uses a lot of jazz and classical music to kind of show a juxtaposition of the Federation and Zeon points of view. So I really like this mobile suit because it's an example of what the full armor Gundam can be in space, and it sort of points out that lack of a limitation for weight when you're in space. It's more about just loading it up with whatever you can get and taking advantage of that generator. Because one thing that I can say about the Gundam generator is that it's ridiculous. It's supposed to be a nuclear... We don't really know what Minovsky technology is, or what a Minovsky particle is, for that matter. I'm really running a risk here trying to capture the space. But, this first initial capture is always important. Gets us sorties later on, lets us get in that position where we can keep them away from our base. And I got myself a bogey. And as you can see, my main gun is kind of a slow one, but it's a beam gun. Does a lot of damage per each shot, but you gotta get that shot first. So it takes a lot of bouncing back and forth with it. I always feel like, oh, I think I got a sniper on me. Gotta try not to be too predictable. And then I should direct my attention to this pilot down here who's gonna try to deck our area here, which is never good. Oh, this guy's on our side. Oh, I just got hit. Is that a Gundam Type 3? Yeah, that's a G3. Yep. Trademark dual-wielding bazookas and everything. Okay. I'm gonna hit him with the rocket pods. Yeah! Serial hits right there. Go ahead. Oh. As you can see, there's a lot of weapon cycling going on. That's the tricky part. The worst thing I can do with this mobile suit is play it like a sniper, but in some rights it kind of is like a heavy armored sniper, because that range is really impressive. What are we looking at? Oh, captured base. Haha, got the pilot. You know, I almost feel like we should just leave it sitting there, though. Here's the thing about sortying. If your mobile suit is still around but you aren't, when you have to sortie, you now have to do the work to get back to that area. Ooh, that was painful. Yeah, you have to do that work to get back to the area, which is always tricky. Oh, I got hit. Here, let's boost upward. See if I can get some cover. Switch to my secondary rocket pods, because I know they'll be coming. Above or below? Below. Okay. So I'm going to bring it down some. And sort of lay down that firepower. Whoa! That was lag if I ever saw it. You know what? Mirror you. Okay, that's how it is. Ha! You missed. That man is an ace. Oh. Alright, come here, you. Eat beam sword. You like it. Where is the team when we need them? Everyone's alive. I don't get it. Sort of flying serious now. Lay down that firepower. Here he comes. Ah, 私は死んでいた。とてもダメです。It figures the moment I start streaming is the moment I start dying. But it's okay, we're winning. Not for long. There's a lot of base assault going on. No, can't let this slide. So I just opted into normal suit flight. So I'm hoping there's nobody puppy guarding this bomb here. Okay. Damn, I'm not gonna make it in time. Zanin desu. I'm gonna get blown up. Oh, that's interesting. I don't die for it. Well, in that case, call for my mobile suit. Where is it? There it is. The full armored Gundam. Gundam. Can I get one killer shot off? No, I cannot. Did we win though? Ah! Shori desu. Ii desho. Guess who wasn't useful? This guy. Hey, I got another token. 3 of these lets me get a random drop. And they trickle like molasses though. Kinda sucks. But that space combat is always fun. Let's see. It looks like we'll be waiting on some people. Oh, looky there, I've got one comment. I feel like I exist now. Yay. Let's see. Sending out more invites. Because then that means I'll actually be a person, which will be nice. After all, what's the point of a live stream if it's not actually live? So there's that. Let's see. Okay, 3 more people. So anyway, I was talking a little bit about Gundam Thunderbolt. So that one in particular is a really great highlight for how Gundam is very much this sort of tale of humanity more so than a tale of actual, you know, good guy versus bad guy. I mean, more often than not, I'll always sit back and make this reference that Gundam is like Japan's Star Wars, but in truth, the thing about Star Wars is that it is about a tale of good and evil and right and wrong and the decisions we make. But in Gundam, it takes this sort of nihilistic neutrality, and you tend to sit back and deal with this philosophical point of view as you watch different characters. Their motivations are far deeper, and there's more going on besides just, I want to save my friends, or blah blah blah. Granted, still have those examples in Gundam from time to time, like for example, Kira Yamato and Gundam Seed. Hey, I got a comment. Let's see. There we go. Hi, everybody. So, this is pretty cool. And, you know, I'm sitting back and, thinking to myself, Star Wars and Gundam, they're very well parallel, but that should be literally that one line if you were to describe this to someone. In Star Wars, you've got good and evil. In Gundam, you've got human versus human, man versus himself. So, when I think about what that is sometimes, you can see those lines be crossed in Star Wars a lot. It's just really questionable. Like, for example, I think the best example for the line being crossed in Star Wars is Anakin Skywalker. I know, everybody's favorite Kardashian, the Skywalker himself, Anakin. I have to go in on him. He was a guy who started off on a desert planet with no future and no past. He had no clear answer to who he was, had no clear answer to where he was going or what he was doing. It was just, I'm a slave on a desert planet. Suddenly, he got exposed to something major, and this caused him to be trained to be a Jedi, and he took it as being trained to be a hero. Everyone treated him like that, and he started looking for ways to be better, ways to be righteouser, ways to try to right the wrongs out there. And this makes Anakin Skywalker kind of an interesting juxtaposition to Casval Daikun, or Shar Aznable. You have Casval, who is an aristocratic noble in a space colony, and his father is executed, actually not executed, but assassinated, and he's put in these situations where his life gets downplayed from that aristocracy to lower areas of society, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. So you have these two going through this juxtaposition where you have Anakin trying to be good, and you have Casval essentially looking for revenge and justice for the wrongs that were done to him. Let's see if I can get this guy. I couldn't get him. He's gonna get a shot off on me. Yep. Okay, let's see. But, what was I doing there? Here we go. But Anakin is, sitting here trying to be good, and as he looks closer into the good, he starts to see examples of, evil in the society that he's being raised in, and it leads ultimately to him going down a path of evil and looking for redemption. Shara, on the other hand, follows a similar premise, which is super interesting because he does this in reverse. He starts off with the force which we are taught to believe is evil, and then ends up sort of doing a lot of good for the Gundam universe. First off, he assassinated the Zabi family, which, yes, albeit is revenge, but it was needed. The Zabi family is the terrible family that led Zeon to drop a space colony on the planet Earth, which is really not something I would consider to be forgivable by any means. There is nothing good about what he did, by any means. Well, they is better, the word I should say. Dagon Zabi didn't have a lot to do with it like Giran did. Giran really spearheaded that idea. The whole Ifish Island colony drop was just like the worst thing that had ever happened. So you look at Gundam and you see that Anakin is now having to do something terrible himself and assassinating a bunch of Jedi children in order to supposedly bring out the better good in society. That's funny when you see you're fighting yourself. I am not going to make it out of this battle, though. but I'm still gonna try. Can I get him? Yeah, I can get him. Let's see. But, you know, Darth Vader tries this terrible thing of assassinating children in order to help get rid of the Jedi Order, so to speak. And it leads to this atrocity occurring where you have him become the spearhead for what will be the greatest evil the universe has ever seen. At the same time, Char, who has become the Red Comet and is the most hardcore pilot you will ever meet, the one who is known as the legend of the 1 Year War, is going to sit back and essentially disappear. So, again, we see Anakin and Vader having this parallel path. Not Anakin and Vader, but Char and Vader having this parallel path. They both adorn masks, they both adorn a false name, and they both walk towards their beliefs. Vader's was a belief in trying to improve the galaxy by removing liars, and Char's goal then became the restoration of the Earth, which is what his father would have wanted. So then we're introduced to Quattro Bagina, which is yet another Char. Forewarning, guys, we're gonna start to enter some spoiler territories when it comes to Char. Quattro Bagina was another face that Char put on in order to sort of, I guess, protect his identity, because the reputation he had gained as Char Aznable of the Principality of Zeon was a reputation that was going to get him killed, yet again. And this seems to be the paradigm with Char. Whenever his name threatens to get him killed, he changes it. Which is funny, because at the same time, he sits back and does these things that set him up to get killed. But, again, never actually gets killed. I mean, I kind of question his true death, which happened in Char's counterattack. So, we see this pathway where Quattro is doing a whole lot of good for space in general, working with the AUG, working for the restoration of the Earth. He's joined Karaba for a minute. He helped with the emergence of Neo-Zeon becoming a solid thing, which many people would say is not a good thing, especially when you look at like UC-0083 Stardust Memory, in which Neo-Zeon attempted to fire nukes on an entire space colony, which never good again. I believe it was Luna 2 actually they tried to fire nukes at, but again, still not good. Never good, actually. I mean, I'm always going to find negative and negativity in the idea of what's going on with the previous Principality of Zeon. But when we talk about Neo-Zeon, that's a whole nother subject. Neo-Zeon, which was led by Char Aznable and eventually led by Full Frontal, whom we aren't really sure is not Char, even though there are things that imply he is not. There are things that imply he very much is in some way Char. So I'm not really going to kind of stick to my guns on saying he's not or he is Char. I'm more going to say that he's the middle ground. Neo-Zeon is good for this reason. When you're faced with two opposing forces and two opposing powers, they are always going to have reasons they want to fight each other and reasons to war. And that's fair. In fact, that's expected. That being said, when you're dealing with something like... I'm going to see if maybe I can get away with this, but I'll probably get killed in the process. Alright, I got there. Maybe I can get back to my mobile suit. God bless shielding. I am the Shield King. And this guy was too cowardly to get out. Let's see if I can puppy guard this for just a moment. Ah, time was up. I couldn't get away with it. Well, me gabbing my mouth away, I ended up not really spotting the timer there. Okay, that's the screen I'm used to seeing. Losing all the time. Hey, look at that! Second place. Let's see. I can't tell what that third one is. But the second one, I believe, is MS Protection. And then the first one, Kanaji. I'm not really sure. Can't read it from here. I'm sort of sitting a little far away from my screen here. Ah, well. It's not really super important. Didn't really crush anybody's face. Yep. Okay, back to the waiting game. Always fun. So, yeah. Coming back to it, I was talking about... Essentially, I was talking about Star Wars and Gundam and how they connect, but then I got off on a tangent because Char is, like, the greatest character ever. Hands down. Best guy. And, you know, Char even has a Padme Amidala figure like Anakin does, and that figure would happen to be Lala Sune. Lala Sune is really interesting because what happens with Lala is that during Char's younger days, especially before the 1 Year War officially begins and he becomes a true soldier of the Principality of Zeon, he spends some time down on Earth. And I believe down in South America he runs into Lala during a slave trade and has a connection with her that begins to make him wonder what is real and what is not. And before his father died, he overheard a lot of his father's attempt at putting together a true speech about freedom and liberation for the people of space. But more so, he may have heard things about what a new type is. So, in Gundam, we have a thing that is very Jedi-like. It's the idea that humanity could evolve from living out in space. That's the premise of being a new type. So, in our original Gundam canon, which would be this particular timeline in where this game is happening, it's UC 0079. That could be the year 2079 as far as we can tell, but it's not very clear. During this timeline, you have essentially these people who are sent up into space because Earth's burgeoning population has grown entirely too greatly for the Earth to support what is needed. And there's also some subtext about pollution and nuclear warfare that imply that the movement into the universal century was a necessity, not just a decision. So the small battles and wars that broke out along the UC era were battles that kept the Earth kind of from truly regenerating at full speed. And then this colony drop event that occurred at the beginning of 0079 sealed Earth's fate in not recovering very fast at all. So now we have people who are going to live their entire lives out in space because of all that has happened on Earth. And these people may or may not live inside their comfortable colonies, which can feel like being on Earth, but is somewhat different. I mean, if you ever see a space colony, it's like a big cylinder out in space with solar panels extending out. And this is based off of a real scientific design. I have to look into it in order to get an answer on this one. But it is based off of a real scientific design. Aw, looks like our room is getting kind of lame here. I will give it maybe 2 more minutes before I turn around and say, let's hit the ground. So, that being said, you know, dealing with the space colonies, I understand that they are supposed to be, a realistic scientific design, and the idea is that they channel sunlight from the sun directly, run it through a beam through the middle of the cylinder, and then the colonies rotate, generating a gravity that weakens as you get closer towards that solar panel that runs through the inside, or I should say solar reflector. So they have themselves a natural looking day and night inside of the colonies, and the land is an inward curve. So everyone lives on the outermost area of the colonies where Earth's gravity is perfectly simulated. And, yes, you can totally look up into the sky, see a beam of light, and maybe neighbors on the other side of the colony, but it's almost as big as living in like a major city or even a small state. Like, I'm not gonna say it's the size of Texas per se, but I dare to say it was like maybe the size of maybe like a California or an Illinois. California is a pretty big state. Maybe Iowa. Iowa is probably a better example. It's not ridiculously, immeasurably expansive, but I don't see someone walking around the outside of a colony in a day or two. I see someone walking around the outside of a colony for a couple of weeks. It's Route 66 trying to drive around that thing. So it's definitely big. And those are usually called sides, and so those are like flotillas of colonies that hang out together. So with these people living in space, they're exposed to some really unusual things because they're not next to the Earth, and so 79 years is a really short time to experience evolution. But Yoshiyuki Tomino, the creator of Gundam, sort of justified this as like humanity was already on its cusp with the emergence of technology and the communication across the globe and then beyond the globe. And the moment we got off of Earth, our ability to sort of sense and feel more expanded. It looks like this room isn't livening up, so I'm gonna start to hit the ground, and maybe we can show off some more mobile suits while we're at it. So I'm backing out of this room, and let's go ahead and try the desert. Desert's usually a pretty good place. Okay, looks like the mobile suit limit here is 400. I can probably get away with this. Let's see. That means that I can sortie with my GM Sniper Custom. So, as you can see, it says GM Sniper Custom. Let's see. And we shall have a terrestrial sortie. Let's take a look at what kind of equipment I'm rocking. Classic beam rifle, because who has a sniper without a sniper rifle? I like the wrist-mounted beam saber. That's really unusual for this mobile suit. In fact, or for mobile suits in general, during the UC timeline, because a lot of times they came as cut and paste knockoffs of the Gundam. And so when you look at the Gundam, you're dealing with a backpack mounted beam saber. So that's one thing that's pretty interesting. It meant that they were starting to think about the 0083 designs when they came out with this guy. And now we're looking at a beam pistol here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's in the way. Looks like we'll be sorting soon. But we have beam pistol here, which is a really unusual kind of weapon, because you don't see a lot of pistols with mobile suits. Not unless you're dealing with, like, what do you call it? Gundam 00 with Dynamis Stratos, which was kind of... Maybe these guys know each other. I mean, Dynamis Stratos uses 2 pistols and a sniper rifle. And this guy uses 2 pistols and a sniper rifle. And then we have our dearly beloved head Vulcans, because life is not right without head Vulcans. Alright, time to sortie. And I'm pretty sure that one actually reads Junbi Kanryoshimasu. But, again, all of those are Chinese characters, so I can't really actually read that phonetically. But I do understand that the first kanji there is Yama, which is mountain, and I believe this means to enter in this particular situation. In fact, I might even be reading that wrong, because Yama is one line with 3 lines going upward. This one has what looks like Yama on top of a bigger sort of gate looking thing. So I guess maybe it's Haite, something like that. But again, gomenasai kedo zenzen wakaru nai yo. Mochiron renshu wa hitsuyo desu. But what can I say? We're gonna have ourselves a ground battle, and this one using a GM sniper. I'm going to very much be focusing on basically trying to do some long range support. So I'm not going to be part of the group that collects bases here. Oh, look at that. I love it. Absolutely love seeing the launch sequence. I imagine I'm on a Pegasus class ship getting sent off. Here we go. Hashim! Like, how many people kinda would love to just sit back inside of that mobile suit and just be like, alright, launching. Feel those G-forces for a second. There's a video I saw not too long ago, poor job at making it seem intuitive. But again, these are super weapons of the future, and the people of the future may not necessarily be the same kind of people we are today. They may be smarter. After all, you've got teenagers like Mirai Yashima who can fly starships. And that was not something we can do as, you know, normal human beings today in this age without years of training by NASA or whatever space agency you adhere to if you're not from America. In fact, I'm starting to wonder, like, what would be the space agency for, you know, Japan? Is it gonna be a Japanese space agency, or are they going to adhere to the United States Space Agency because of the whole protectorate situation? Protectorate may not be the right word, but essentially, with Japan's previous demilitarization after World War II, uh-oh, my broadcasting is getting funny. I hope you guys can still connect properly to me. Let's see here. Got that Zaku in the face. Says I'm still on air. That's always good. Ooh, yeah. That was a kill. I hope that got caught on camera. Comments if you can definitely see that shot that happened just now. If not, oh well. Moments of greatness never get caught on stream. Yeah! Mobile suit jumping, the best kind of jumping. Take it! The delicious beam rifle in your back. So I heard you like pain. You're gonna get glassed, buddy. I love the fire rate on this gun. It's absolutely satisfactory. Doko ni aru ka? Doko desu ka? Ah! Damn. Watch where you're going, buddy. I'll engage you. Dame desu. Oh! Don't tell me I'm dealing with a GM striker. Oh! What? Oh no! I did not quick draw that. Not correctly. Oh, good. Buddy's helping me out here. How is this guy not showing up on radar? Ah! Shindeta! Oh, I got blasted. It's okay. I got my couple of kills. So, let's see. It looks like we got everything pretty well covered. I'm gonna focus on gameplay for a little while. Gonna be less about the chatty. Uh-oh. I picked a great place to be. Yes, I did. Beam Saber! I'm no Gundam, but I can fight. Roll, little piggy. Roll! Uh-oh. Oh, this just became full Scooby-Doo. Help! Help! Tasukete kudasai! Ah! Moidalized. Oh, thank you, Zaku Tank-chan. You at least made my death not in vain. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launching! Okay. Let's see. Delicious laser candy. That sucks. I'ma charge my laser. Oh, he's about to die. He needs help. I'm firing my laser. Doko desu ka? Oh, we're running out of time. Ah, there was not victory here on this land. This dry, arid land of sadness. Oh, yes there was. Hey! I misread. Okay, so the guy who went out in a tank, you have my respect. You know, I didn't even know what a Zaku tank was before Dynasty Warriors Gundam. Like, what's up with that? Like, who thought that was a good idea? I'm gonna take the upper body of a Zaku and put it on a tank. Yeah, let's do that. Upper body of a Zaku. Let's put it on a tank. That'd be super good, yeah. I like that idea. I don't even understand, like, why? What is a Zaku tank? Who came up with that idea? It's like somebody got bored for a second. Zaku tank, ladies and gentlemen. Like, what? So, that's the thing with the Zakus, right? They're the granddaddy of all mobile suits, but I'm pretty sure the gun tank was a thing before the Zaku. So, shouldn't we technically give credit to the gun tank? Like, I get it. Tires, a torso, a head, shoulder-mounted cannons, and hand-mounted cannons. The gun tank, good idea for a weapon. Very efficient, very powerful. Not really good in space, and even worse on any terrain other than your natural battlefields. But that's the thing. War in today's age is fought in urban environments that are third world or in wide open terrains where people take advantage of the land. You don't really see war be fought in first world urban environments unless there's really like something jacked up happening and then the whole world's watching it and it's on the news and it's basically catastrophe at this point. So that being said, the idea of mobile suits is kind of scary because it welcomes the idea of having a fight anywhere you want. That's what the connotation of mobility means. And so, if you look at war technology today, mobile suits are kind of an inevitable answer to everything. Yes, right now we use, like, jet fighters and drones and you know, soldiers are taking advantage of all kinds of crazy tech. But in the end, I may not imagine a giant robot per se, but a robot that can go anywhere and everywhere and find creative ways to power itself. Now that's something you would expect to see for warfare of the future. And eventually, yeah, somebody's gonna go, hey look, battle tanks aren't enough, and we need something that can terrorize the battlefield in the outright war. How do we do this, guys? If there are anti-aircraft guns, and there are mines, and there's gotta be something. So, I mean, Logistics is probably the thing that would make somebody cave and say, we need to find a universal soldier. And the universal soldier would probably still end up being human-sized because of the way our technology works. But if we could see a future where war technology leads to mobile suits, well, I could imagine them conquering the battlefield and it being like a mainstay for everything. Because if you could come up with a rock-solid design for a giant mecha that could fight and do combat, especially in space, I think a lot of people will jump on that. Especially if space becomes that new sort of horizon that we're all looking at. Look at Elon Musk, for example, and the whole SpaceX idea. This thought of sending people to Mars to colonize, it's a pretty attractive thought. But it sounds like if it succeeds, it'll inevitably lead to some serious talks about who's in charge. Because, let's be real here, Earth people don't think about what goes on in space. Space people are gonna start to need things. Especially people who are terraforming a new planet. And Earth is going to have to send those resources. You can't even get somebody to drop a penny in a cup in Chicago. So how the hell are you going to get a country to say, here's some extra food supplies, here's some water, here's some plants to help with your need here on Mars? Like, who's gonna do that? Who's gonna hand new tech to Mars? And how is Earth and Mars gonna stay in touch with each other? Let's, like, imagine that for a second. Okay, mid-range support for now. I love that golden mobile suit. That's pretty. But fighting a Goof custom is gonna be some nastiness. Ouch! In the face! Is this a Goof or is this an Ifrit? Looks very much like the Ifrit. I know it's definitely beating me in close-up combat here. I'm not winning. I'm not winning here. Oh, that's bad. My legs are at max damage. I'm not gonna be able to run. That's it. Watashi wa shindeta. Kawaisou desu. I died. But it's okay. Because in video game life, no one dies for real. Ooh. Look at that. Over at the enemy base, somebody's being bold right now. It looks like he's surrounded though. That being said, I noticed nobody actually captured a sortie point. That seems a bit on the edge here. I'm gonna be that guy. Oh, look at us. That's horrid. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oyasumi nasai, Mr. Shinsen. I appreciate the attention. Okay, time to launch. See you tomorrow. Yeah! Giant robot time. Who will survive? Somebody is on the ground with a ready mobile suit, and they're not doing anything with it. Not this guy again. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to escape him. Okay, here's my strategy. I am going to boost away like a coward. And then... I'm gonna get my revenge. My delicious beam vengeance. Okay. That's how it is. You're gonna get close at some point. Dame desu! Dame desu! I don't want it. I am backed against the wall and getting flanked like a... Oh, this is bad. Oh, they fed me the pain. Okay. This is gonna be pretty crappy for all of us. Yep, I landed in the middle of a battle. That's one thing I will say though. I do not think we will ever see a giant robot sword fight IRL. That, I'm afraid, will never happen. Ow! Is that a Gundam class? And I am getting Eiffel Towered here. Woo! There is no place to hide. Ah! Dead. Okay. Well, I'm thinking that this match, unfortunate as it is, will have to be the last. With 45 seconds on the clock and 3 seconds to spawn. Let's see what this is. Let's see how this looks. Show me your head. Yep, I am no Mikazuki Agisto. Dame. I did lay down a lot of support fire though. People seem to think I did good in that regard. Okay. Let's see if I can get into one more match. If I can, I'll go for it. If I can't, then that will have to be oyasuminexe. Or, in this case, good afternoon in Japan. What would that be? Like a... not konbanwa, kedo... Nani kotoba desu ka? What is it? Yoyohiru desu ka? I don't know. Konnichiwa. That'll do it. Yep. I guess konnichiwa is technically good day. But who actually uses konnichiwa? Like, native Japanese speakers out there, if you ever watch this, somebody tell me an example when konnichiwa is used, like, casually. I mean, most of the time it's, domo, or osu, yoroshiku, yo. You know, casual, I mean. In fact, I almost never hear konnichiwa used. I mean, there's a few Japanese words I really don't hear a lot. Like, for example, doko doesn't seem to really be a common thing. Like, no, not doko, but like, doko desu ka? I feel like doko e desu ka is more commonly used than just straight doko desu ka. I wonder if that's a Tokyo dialect thing. Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I don't know. It's just looking like a slow wait time here. Here, I know what I'll do. While I am waiting for this room to finish finding its last people, wouldn't you know it, as soon as you want to do something. Heh! That's funny. Yep. Watashi wa junbi desu. Good man. Yes, we do need a lead attacker. I'm afraid I don't have that. If I did, I would love it to be a gem striker, or maybe I wonder what's a good melee type suit. Maybe the Dom? I mean, Dom is high mobility, uses primarily bazookas and heat hawks. Or not heat hawks, but heat sabers. So maybe, yeah. But then there's the Goof, which exclusively touts a heat saber, which is a pretty cool weapon when you think about it. Zeonic weapons are a little out there, though. Where the Federation seems to be utilitarian and militaristic, Zeon seems to do everything as a form of art. I noticed that almost all Zeonic mobile suits are flamboyant as hell. And I can really see that German Nazi sort of symbolism that they like to put in the old principality type stuff. I mean, Neo Zeon, less Nazi-esque, more aristocratic royalty. I mean, I really love the sleeves, especially. Like, Full Frontal is my favorite character of all time. And the idea that he's this guy who's like look at my fancy collar and my nice button up, and I'm in this office that's glorious and gorgeous, and even my mobile suit bears the emblem of my people on its chest in beautiful royal gold colors. And of course my trademark red. I completely think that's excellent. And then, of course, I love the streamlining of Char's mask. Like, I understand that his mask originated from like a sports ball kind of mask. I think they called it like a zero G ball or something like that. It's essentially basketball. But, you know, even so, I gotta say, Char's mask is iconic. And no matter what century or Gundam timeline you're in, you're always going to see somebody who bears a mask of that caliber that implies that they are going to be soldiers of sadness, sorrow, and the movers of history. Like, even characters as shallow as Raul Crusade are infamous because they put on the mask. And all you can think to yourself is, man, that Zex Marquise, that Raul Crusade, that Full Frontal, those guys are really, truly excellent homages to Char. But none can ever be as deep as Char. Dare I say that Lelouch V. Britannia is kind of a Char figure himself as well? Lelouch V. Britannia is the main character of Code Geass, and he does bear this this mask and calls himself Zero at one point in time. Underneath the mask, there's like a flap that opens, and he can use a Geass power that hypnotizes people. But even so, he's still a mobile suit pilot, or a nightmare pilot as they call it, and is infamous for leading people and being the bad guy in the context of the world, which is one of the things that tends to happen here. Like, I mean, let's look at like Mr. Bushido. Mr. Bushido's a really good example right there. Or you look at, well, they sort of portrayed Meijin Kawaguchi as a bad guy for a while. That would be the third Meijin, Yuki, from Build Fighter Gundams. Or Build Fighter Gundam. That is not necessarily evil, but he's about something. And that's usually what happens with your masked character, as I'm reiterating here. But even so, like, as you deal with this masked character trope, it does get kind of old to some extent when you're sitting there, what is this guy doing? Over here straight up river dancing on that ass. I'm sorry, but he's over here like Cliffs of Dover head ass over here, just tear to tot and toe to tay. I'm over here like river dancing. Hey, hey, hey. Let me use the boost to get through. Oh, oh. I'm gonna take your base. All your base are belong to us. All your base, all your base, all your base. Ha! Mine! And I immediately regret that. What class mobile suit are you? Oh! It's a Gundam! I cannot contend with a Gundam, but I can at least entertain the thought, hubris as it may be. Wrong gun. Oh, that could have been beautiful. You know, I'm not full enough not to. Okay. I can't see what's going on that side of the battlefield, but I feel like my shot's gonna show itself. Woo! Took his shield off. That increased damage from laying down. Woo! Thank you, buddy. How did that not peck you in your chest? I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something and you won't believe it. You a hoe. Alright, alright, alright. Catch this laser candy! Are you serious? At least like trip on the glass I make. Yes! I got that hit off. It wasn't a kill, but it's a nice way to end a battle. Hi, soldier. Otsukaresama desu. Hontou ni subarashii desu. And that is a perfect place to end it. Join me next time at a random time. I'll start to get better at this as I start to get more comments and views from older videos. Guys, let me know which is a good time to stream. I'm kind of partial to Friday morning in Japan, Thursday night in America. Sort of also kind of partial to Saturday night in America, Sunday morning Japan. Those are usually the times where it's most active, and that's when we can get a match going. Anyway, I was your host. 俺はshinobimanexe。ありがとうございます。また会いしましょう。